As is usually, I'll call the meeting to order, and we will commence with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. We'll dispense with a lot of the formalities because, as I mentioned in my email, I did want to focus tonight on the coffee socials because I think Christy, trying to get myself untangled here. Christy had reached out to the lady at the Quannapowitt Yacht Club, and if you'll forgive me, I forget her name right now. And Saturday, September 11th is open. And I think Christy's plan was to try to reinvigorate the coffee socials starting then. I believe she was reaching out to the gentleman at Honeydew to see if he would continue to donate donuts and coffee. We had not discussed whether we were going to have any guest speakers or anything like that. But, I certainly hope that we can make these successful. They've been tried and failed a few times, at least two that I'm aware of, and they just never seem to pick up momentum. We had discussed having guest speakers from the VA, home loan people, solicit input from townspeople on subjects that they would like to hear about. We could certainly discuss something near and dear to David and mine's heart, Chapter 115 benefits, etc. But, at least, I'll take the action item to put something in the daily item and on social media, and perhaps we can put some flyers around town to announce the fact that they will be starting again, and just go from there, and then we can line up the rest of it. One of the reasons I wanted to hold the meeting tonight is that I don't recall that we actually took a vote at our June meeting to agree or disagree that the board wanted to move forward with the coffee socials. We did have some discussion. I don't recall there being a vote on the matter. And I kind of think it's appropriate to have a vote, whether we move forward or not, because it's, I would like this to be a group activity where certain people take ownership of certain parts of it. Maybe certain people take an action item to present on something or reach out to guest speakers, whatever the case may be. So I did, and I had kind of hoped that Christy would be taking the lead on it, since she was one of the driving forces behind it. And, I don't want to speak for her, but I believe that was her intention, was to act as the lead, and we would certainly help in any activities that are warranted.
Jay, can you elaborate? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you elaborate on what the issues were previously that caused this to not go forward?
Other than members of this board, two or three people showed up.
Okay.
And there were too many donuts to eat, too much coffee to drink. And, other than, Mr. Scott, Patty O'Leary, Bob Curran, I think might have come, I don't remember. And a number of board members, nobody ever showed up. And then it kind of just petered out after a while. And there are some successful coffee socials. There's actually a little coffee social group that the VA has. There's a gentleman by the name of Eric Jetter who came to a couple of our coffee socials, who seems to be very active in it. I honestly don't know if Christy has reached out to him. Eric's a non-veteran, but he is 150% heart and soul behind veterans issues. I think his dad was a former Marine or Marines, service members in his family, etc. So, he has brought a number of materials, informational brochures, etc., to coffee socials in the past. But to be honest, at the end of the day, we packed them up and put them. So, maybe there's some lessons learned that we can get as we move forward. But, as I said, I thought it was kind of appropriate that this board have a voice some opinions, yay or nay, on moving forward with this. We take a vote and then we agree to move on. Okay. Anyone else have any input on the
going to be done monthly, Jay?
I'm sorry?
Is this going to be done monthly?
We have done it monthly in the past. I honestly don't know whether that's too frequent, whether it should be quarterly. And maybe we, again, I don't want to dictate policy. Maybe we start quarterly.
Yeah.
And if it's well attended, because, I've always been of a mind that, you do a few things well instead of a lot of things half-baked.
Right.
So I think if we were to do it quarterly, bi-monthly, whatever the case may be, and have more time and energy to put some wood behind the arrow, maybe they'll be a little bit more effective. I don't know.
And also, marketing has a lot to do with it, as we know. But also, even if if we do the first one as sort of a meet and greet kind of a thing, and maybe get some ideas, have people come and tell us, what do you want? What topics do you want to hear about? What can we do? Let our audience tell us what they need from us.
Yep. I think it'd be a great thing for the Veterans Corner to publicize it.
Yep.
And maybe add something in the item, maybe the Friday before or something.
Certainly, yeah.
And also, I don't know, Jay, who's our liaison with the town council?
Councilman Butt.
Okay, if we could get her maybe to announce this is going to happen at one of the town council meetings, and they usually give a rundown of events in the town.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I'll check their schedule to see what their meeting looks like.
I'm sorry, what was the time? 9 o'clock?
Still to be determined.
To be determined, okay.
If Christy had that in her email, I honestly don't remember.
Do we think September 11th is being too ambitious? I mean, are we going to be able to pull it together before September 11th? I'm on vacation for like a week and a half between now and then.
And I need to be perfectly. My thought was we would discuss it further at our September meeting and maybe kick it off in October. Speaking of Councilor Butt, here she is. I was of a mind to discuss it in September and kick off in October.
Yeah.
I think arrangements had already been made with the Quannapowitt Yacht Club for September 11th. Speaking only for myself, September 11th in Saugus is Founders Day. Generally, that's a day-long event that I attend as a part of the my veteran service job and a member of the Veterans Council in Saugus. So I don't know what the timing of that would be. So I'd be kind of in and out on that day anyhow.
For me personally, I think I don't know if we can pull this off by September 11th.
Oh, I won't be back to help until
Marianne, I can hardly hear you.
I said I won't be back to help till like the 13th of October. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's an hour ahead anyway.
yeah.
Yes, I am.
And I am scheduled to be on vacation starting next week through Labor Day. I mean, I'll always be on email, et cetera, et cetera. So
Right.
that's not a showstopper. I mean, I would be perfectly fine with holding this in abeyance and kicking it off in October. I would be fine with that. We would just have to let Quantipower Yacht Club know.
How does everybody else feel? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
I will leave that to the board.
How do you guys all feel about it?
I agree. I think September 11th is quick with schedules. I know I'm on vacation the 2 weeks prior to that. So if I want to stay married, I probably have to go.
Go on vacation.
The boss said go, so.
You're going to go.
Yeah.
An agreement as well. I think September 11th is too soon, given all the things we want to do prior to that date.
Yeah, I agree. Because we have other projects that we'd like to be kicking off in conjunction with this. If there seems to be some consensus that we hold off the initiation of the Coffee Social Revision 3 until October. If you feel it's appropriate, I'll make a motion that we postpone the Veterans Coffee Social Program initiation until October.
Before you do that, though, do we need to vote on whether or not we want to do it at all? That was your suggestion.
You're absolutely right. Mm-hmm. So, do we have any more discussion on whether thank you, Jackie, whether we want to move forward with the coffee socials or not?
I'd like to.
Yeah, me too.
Same.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I will make a motion that the Veterans Advisory Board votes in the to take a vote on the latest incarnation of the Veterans Coffee Social to begin that the board agrees that it is appropriate to revitalize the Veterans Coffee Social. That's the motion on the table. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mary. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Second.
Opposed?
Aye.
David, you were time delayed. So is your aye an affirmative or a negative? Affirmative. Okay. The motion carries. Now, on the motion that we have, that we hold the coffee socials to begin in October, vice September. Do we have any additional discussion on that? Hearing none, I will make a motion that the board moves that the Veterans Coffee Social begin in the month of October on a mutually agreeable date between this board and the Quantipower Yacht Club. Do you have a second on that?
David is holding up a piece of paper that says October 2nd.
Is that what Christy put forth?
I don't know.
I mean, we could certainly go forth with October 2nd, but I honestly don't know what
I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I honestly don't remember whether the Quantipower Yacht Club committed to a certain week of every month. I'm trying to go through Christie's email. No, it just says one Saturday morning per month from when we start through December. So the October date would have to be a date to be determined in the future. So the motion is to begin in October in a date that's still to be determined. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Jackie,
Second.
all in favor?
Yes, A.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Councillor Butt, before you were able to join, one thing that was brought up was perhaps a hope that you could announce it at an upcoming town council meeting, that perhaps at a meeting that that aligns up better with whenever we start. Perhaps this could be announced at a town council meeting in addition to the other publicity that we plan to undertake.
Yep. Hi. Thank you. Sorry I joined late. I love this virtual world. Maureen Butt, I'm your town councilor, and I am also the liaison. This is my first meeting. So nice to see all your faces. I miss seeing you in person. I am happy to announce whatever you want me to announce. Our next meeting is until September 13th. But Jay, if you or David or anyone just sends me notes, I will read them at our town council meeting. We tend to do updates at the end, but happy to share whatever. That I love that coffee social idea. If that gets off in October, I'd love to announce that. But yeah, and once in September, we'll go back to every 2 meetings a month. It's just August, we take it a little slow.
Will you have 2 meetings in September?
We will. September 13th, and I think like the 26th-ish. So like usually the 2nd and 4th Monday.
Okay. Perhaps the 27th or something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll circle back with the Quantipout Yacht Club to see what dates are open in October, and circle back with you with the date and some information to announce. Thank you.
Jay, at that first coffee social, like you were saying, chapter, what is it, 115?
Yes.
If you and Dave could be there and explain that to some people. I know there's many people out there that have benefits that they could get that know nothing about this, and that would be a great startup. And we're liable to pick up a few people for the remaining socials while we're there.
Yep, that's good.
We could certainly put a primer together on chapter 115. We have enough data to pull from, and again, the publicity that we put out we can certainly publicize that fact, and the fact that we're looking for input from the public on future subjects to be covered. That's it. Yeah, aid and attendance. You know, there are a host of topics that we can cover. You know, and maybe just dedicate a half an hour at each one of these to cover the topic and drive some business to either, you know, David's office or wherever folks come from. And or, you know, one of the things, I don't know about David, one of the things that I've faced during COVID is that a lot of veterans have come out of the bushes that are not enrolled in VA healthcare. That's a fairly simple subject to cover. And, you know, we could cover that. And, you know, again, there are a host of topics that we can cover. Okay. And we can certainly go into greater detail during a September meeting on that. Now, the other 2 things that I wanted to touch on very briefly is the Veterans Banner. As you recall, we had the Wakefield's Heroes banners on the light poles in the square for Memorial Day. And we had discussed reaching out to the public to ask them to submit names, faces, etc. of their veterans, so that we could perhaps, if nothing else, have more visibility for David's office on who the veterans are in town. I was able to get a readout on those who have registered as veterans in the census in town. So we have that. But the thought was that maybe we could expand this more to highlight the veterans in town. I'm going to voice an opinion. What just happened? Oh, sorry. You know, I have a huge problem with the current use of the word hero. You know what I mean? I was fine with calling the fallen Wakefield heroes. I personally don't view somebody who enlists as just garden heroes, nor would they consider themselves heroes. Having had some discussions with Medal of Honor recipients, to a person, they do not consider themselves heroes. They refer to the heroes as those who did not come home. So something to keep in mind as we expand this project is how we publicize it and what the form factor that the banners take. So if you look at it, the thought is, you know, we may have the month of October to recruit for this. I'm sorry, the month of September and into October to recruit for this, and then perhaps a month to get the work done, to have this done by Veterans Day. You know what I mean? So in September, we're going to have some more substantive discussions. I'll be meeting offline with the folks that put the banners together, et cetera, to see if we can nail down a timeline for deliverable when they need the data, et cetera. And this is something that can grow throughout the years. And, you know, we didn't really discuss it in detail, but as we discussed it one of the last meetings, there are cities, even here in Massachusetts, that ask family members or the veterans themselves to more or less buy their banner. They paid $200 for it. It was created, and at the end of the time, they got the banner back. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if we want to get into something like that. Again, it's not up to me. You know, we can go forward with it. We also need to, you know, look at costs, et cetera. You know, I think if we want folks to pay for it, we're probably behind the power curve on that. So, you know, again, we're going to have to hit the ground running on this in September and publicize it before then. Okay.
Jay, what were the qualifications to be on a banner?
Veterans, quote unquote veterans. And
from Wakefield.
Yes, ma'am.
But living in Wakefield, born in Wakefield.
You know, again, you tell me. Okay. I'm not gonna dictate this. You know, I know that there are people in Wakefield that have veterans that they're very proud of in their family, that, you know, maybe Wakefield was their home of record when they enlisted and they haven't lived in Wakefield. I think in a past meeting, we discussed some of the horrors that we've had I know in Wakefield and Saugus, with people that are not on memorials. Their families think they should have been, or people that are on them that people think they shouldn't be. You know, again, if we, you know, and even there are heated discussions about how you even define a veteran. You know, as an example, somebody who spends 30 years in the National Guard, never was deployed, never was activated, et cetera, are not considered a veteran by the federal standard. They're not entitled to a lot of benefits. My own opinion, I think they feel free to call themselves veterans because they stood there and said, I will, and did what they were called for. So You know, again, you know, Wakefield being their home of record. They currently live in Wakefield. You know, we could open it to all comers. And
you know, that's going to be a little tricky because I've had some dealings with people who actually didn't make it through basic or boot camp and still call themselves veterans and joined the VFW and joined the American Legion, and you know, but they weren't in even 30 days. I don't know how they are able to join these organizations, but I've dealt with these people, so you know that kind of scares me too.
I don't disagree. You know, for David and my part of the puzzle, your status is determined by what it says on your DD 214.
Exactly.
And you're right. I've seen benefits provided to people that didn't make it to boot camp. I saw one DD 214 that basically said this gentleman was discharged due to a fraudulent enlistment, but the character of service was honorable. But he didn't serve,
no
you know. So again, it's, you know, again,
that makes no sense. Yeah, exactly.
We could get in a lot of trouble. You know, even the discussion about the commemoration, the 50th anniversary commemorations that we've had for Vietnam, worthwhile events. Some people have taken offense with the Department of Defense process where, like, I am a Vietnam era veteran. I was not boots on the ground in Vietnam. The DOD said of 9 million people that were in the service during the Vietnam era, 65 to 75, whatever the dates you choose, of 9 million, only 2 point something million people were actually in country. I didn't make the decision not to go. The Marine Corps made the decision not to send me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
David was over, Brian was over, Dan was over. We went where we were told. And there's a pin that is given out during the commemoration that says Vietnam War veteran. I would never wear that button.
Yeah.
But
I've only got 3 months. I've only got 3 months as a Vietnam era veteran, and I don't claim it in any way, shape, or form ever.
So I guess my point is we could get in a firefight no matter what path we choose. You know, and we could just say, hey, this is what we'd like to do. Send us the names and faces of the local veterans, and we'd love to publicize them and perhaps have another banner project in time for Veterans Day. You know, because way back when we talked about having like a little blurb in the paper for, you know, if you go by Melrose City Hall at all, they always have a welcome home banner out there. Wakefield had one for a number of years, but it was at the top of the Civic Center that nobody could hear, nobody could see unless you were looking for it. And, you know, it takes some effort to get those programs running because people need to recruit. They need to make sure people are sending in names. You need to validate them, get the signs made, etc. So, and Melrose has a much larger body than ours, so they can divvy up the work. So, and again, in September, we can you hear that beeping? I don't know if my house is on fire or somebody's got something in the oven. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I hope your house isn't on fire and you're just sitting there. Yeah, that would be bad.
We have a number of firefighters that live in the neighborhood, so I'm probably in good. And I don't smell anything yet, but I'm in the cellar. So we can have more discussions, and probably have another vote in September about actually moving forward with this project, yay or nay, and just put some more thought behind selection criteria, etc. Okay. You know, I didn't want to get into the weeds on these. I just wanted to bring them forward so that we could have them, you know, more front of mind when we meet again in September. This is all great discussion, but as it just shows that this particular one may not be as easy as we envision. Mm-hmm. The other one that I think is a little bit more straightforward, we've already received some positive feedback on it, is putting a project together for more formally denoting the fact that the ball field at the corner of North Ave and Church Street is Veterans Field. Dan has a lot of history behind it, and that would be part of the process. Dan has already come forward with a couple of conceptual designs that we can put forward if we undertake the project. And he also has some local folks that have volunteered that they may actually pay for signage. So that's something that, you know, we'll put on the agenda for September.
Well, while we have Councilor Butt here, could I ask her if we'd have to come in front of the benches and structure committee, I guess?
I don't think so. We have a policy, I think, and most of those are going through Steve and Sherry. So I would just talk to Steve and Sherry, but I don't see it being an issue.
And we're talking something like the sign that says "Welcome to Wakefield" that the Garden Club put in, kind of a similar type sign, of different colors, but.
Yeah, we wrote the policy, and like the policy says just to go through Steve and Sherry. It gives them a little bit of buffer, but it's not permanent also, right? We're not thinking permanent. Are we thinking?
Yeah.
It would be permanent?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would be something that probably has some, granite posts with a wooden sign suspended in the middle, something like that, similar to the Garden Club sign at the corner of Veterans, the Veterans Memorial Common.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, Councilor Butt, Maureen, that field was dedicated actually 75 years ago, or supposedly dedicated. There's no word that said it actually was. So this would be a rededication, but it was never dedicated in the first place. And it was at town meeting that they named it Veterans Field. So this would be something that's been sitting there for 75 years. Nobody noticed it, but we would rededicate it, have it called Veterans Field, and people would know it.
That is all part of a very cool story that we will tell. Mr. Mayo and Mr. Fazio have already heard about this at a very high level and think it's a reasonable thing to pursue. So again, we'll throw that on the agenda for September and have a little bit more substantive discussion. And I will unearth the concepts that David has shared. Dan has shared with me. Dan, if I can't find them, I'll circle back with you again, and we'll share this information.
I would like to have some kind of a meeting between a bunch of people just to go over this. You know, you, me, I know Brian had showed interest in it, and town council, and maybe Steve Mayo.
We'll discuss that at our September meeting. And then, have that group go forward, take the ball and run with it if the board votes to move forward with it. Okay. Because like I said, we've already have some level of agreement that it's a great thing to do. And, just the information that you've shared in the past certainly sounds like an awesome thing to do. Not sure about moving the flagpole. That adds a degree of difficulty that I'm not sure we need.
There's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah. Again, none of this is simple. If it was simple, anybody would do it. Any other business, anything that you want to throw on the table before we adjourn? And, again, feel free to share any items that you want to put on the agenda for the September meeting. The September meeting will be September 21st. I think from what I was told, I think we're zooming through the end of the year at least. And that was kind of before the Delta variant became a thing.
So it's the third Tuesday?
Yes, ma'am. It's always the third Tuesday. And again, we could change that. Just because it's always been the third Tuesday doesn't mean it has to stay that way.
That's fine.
You know, when I asked about that, seemed to be like a date off a moving truck. There wasn't anything, you know, anything magical beyond the third Tuesday. Okay.
Hey, before we leave, do you need minutes?
I've been writing them.
You have been, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm happy to help out if you need.
Thank you. And after I figure out what's burning upstairs, I'll try to put something together.
Maybe it's dinner.
Jay, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I'm on my phone. I'm trying. I can hear you guys loud and clear, but I can't get my visuals on my phone. I think I'm doing something wrong there.
Okay,
but
Justin.
All right.
Yeah. Do you have anything for the good of the group?
At this point, no. Just that on this coffee social, I know that Christy was talking about having a fishing tournament, and I understand the guest speakers maybe are bringing in the Chapter 1 fee, 15 information, 8 attendance, etc., which is fabulous. I think if we do this like was stated at the Veterans Corner in the item, that might be really good. That might get it kicked off.
Yeah, I think that's certainly reasonable.
That's it.
Okay. Anything? Food pantry tomorrow. Anything else for the good of the group?
Could I just add one little piece in? And this is about 2 weeks ago. We had one veteran in town that we saw at all Veterans Affairs, Dick Beard. And I'd just like to, you know, say we're sorry to see the passing of he was an icon in town. And I know he had nothing to do with that veterans parking space at the town hall. And I had the chance to get him and his daughter, and we got up there and took a picture in front of that. So he was the first one that parked in that spot, but he did a lot for me. And like I said, he was an icon, and, you know, I can't say enough about him.
Quite a gentleman, no doubt. His house was a museum. He was very proud of his heritage. Very, very proud of Wakefield. Thank you for bringing that up. So nothing else. I'll make a move to adjourn. All in favor? Aye.
Second.
Thank you all for coming. Enjoy the rest of your summer.